Hey Fish, how you doing?
Hi, how's it going, Jazz? You good?
Good, I'm good. Nice to see you again. How's it being back home in the cold?
It's nice being back with my family. Yesterday I took down all the Christmas decorations and the Christmas tree and everything like that, which was a bit sad given that I've missed all of Christmas anyway. But yeah, it's nice being back.
Yeah, nice. I must say, since you left last week, the weather has completely turned here as well, so we may as well be in the same place.
Oh, good.
Cool. So thank you for agreeing to come on my new Concept 10 on tour. I'm just going to ask you 10 quick questions about your tour, and the answers can be related to Australia or New Zealand. It doesn't have to be exclusive to Australia. So if you're ready, we'll get into it.
Of course.
Cool. Okay. So it was obviously less than 12 months ago you were here. What was the thing that you were most excited about coming back to this side of the world this year or last year, 2025 tour?
There were many big moments last year, but probably the most exciting thing was when I got moved up to play on the main stage at Beyond the Valley. Which was a bit of a surprise to me because it was something that was arranged very close to the set actually taking place. I was meant to be on a smaller stage, but they decided to move me onto the main stage. It was the first time I played on a big festival main stage like that. And coming back this year, Beyond the Valley was just like, I always felt that it was like kind of a particular sort of home crowd because there were so many people there that were supporters that had, the doof sticks with pictures or references towards me on it and stuff like that. So it was really exciting coming back, but also slightly tinged with the question about, is it going to be, is it going to be as big? Are people going to want to come and see me a second time? And, all that kind of stuff. And it was, and it worked out really well in the end. So that was, that was a real highlight of the tour for me. And it was something I was really looking forward to as well. It was New Year's Eve too. So we actually got to, I would say let my hair down afterwards, but only figuratively, not literally.
It must be such a surreal feeling seeing your face on a doof stick, actually. I can't imagine what that would feel like. Never mind
Yeah,
multiple.
it was, yeah, it was, there were a lot of them and some of them were really funny and it was actually quite distracting when I was playing. One of them was like, actually, this was at Lost Paradise last year, but the guy actually had an effigy of me on a fishing rod and he was like dangling in front of me for my whole set. So like my whole set when I was sang there playing, there was a guy like I could see in the crowd with a fishing rod with a dangling thing. So yeah, a little sort of funny and slightly off-putting, but yeah, all part of the cultural texture of playing in Australia where they're really into their doof sticks. It's really good fun.
Right, love it. Great answer. Okay, since you've started your touring life, you've done a couple of laps around the world now. What's one thing that's always on your packing list?
I don't want to be really boring and so like, I've obviously always got like my laptop and stuff with me so I can produce music and do edits and update the music that I've got on my sticks and stuff. And it's a bit of a boring answer. I mean, like this time I took with like a load of like protein powder and like powdered meals and stuff so I could try and kind of keep my diet in check a bit with mixed results. There were a few like funny instances. I had these like packets where you have to you add boiling water and it makes it into a meal. And there's a macaroni cheese one, which is actually all right. I mean, it's like obviously it's as good as a powdered meal can get, but it's not bad, right? And then I had a madras one, and what you do is you put it into this pot, and you have to add boiling water. So you can actually get them to do it for you on the aeroplane if you're nice to them, and they'll add the boiling water and stuff. And it's never quite the same as doing it at home. You never get the water, and it's quite as hot as it could be, and whatever. And at home, I always top it up for a minute and a half in the microwave. So I found with the madras one that it like produced some, let's just describe them as digestive side effects that were unwanted. And some of these were like, I'd had one at the airport just before getting on the plane as well. So that was one thing I found that the bars were a bit more predictable in that respect. And then the other thing was like the powder that you put in a shaker and you add water to it and you shake up and it's actually really delicious, shaped cinnamon swirl flavour. But one time I forgot to wash it when I got back and I was in Byron Bay for 4 days. And at the end of the tour, I opened it up and it was like absolutely like, it was humming. So yeah, those are maybe some of the less conventional things that I pack with me.
No, that's perfect. That was a nice segue into my next question. What was the best place you ate on this tour of Australia and New Zealand?
Oh wow! I mean, like we were quite fortunate that we went. I mean, we only had one bad meal. To be honest, it'd probably be funnier to describe that. I mean, like we went everywhere we went, we had nice food, and it wasn't we weren't like going to like really expensive places, but if you land in a city at like 2 p.m. and you haven't got a show there till midnight, you've got a fair bit of time to walk around and explore and find find somewhere you like. We eat quite a lot of sushi and stuff just because when we were on tour we were eating out quite a lot, so it's helpful to eat something that's not like really unhealthy. By far the worst meal that we had I really fancied some sesame prawn toast, which is like a dish that you get in Chinese restaurants, but it's really quite UK focused. You can get it elsewhere in the world, but it's much in the UK. You'll get it in every Chinese restaurant. It's a staple. Whereas elsewhere in the world, you actually got to like hunt for it, and probably I don't know. Even in Chinatown in San Francisco, it's like they haven't heard of it because I think the Chinese food that you get in the UK is toned towards the UK palate, and I think it was based off like the fried toast that you have in the morning on your breakfast thing. I don't think it's a traditional Chinese dish, and I really fancied some of those. Adelaide, and we were staying in a hotel, and I was trying to find a Chinese restaurant that served this stuff, and it's like you have to go onto Google and you have to look at all their menus, and I realized I could use Chat GPT, so I used Chat GPT, and I said, I'm staying at this hotel, please, because I always say please can you find a restaurant that's nearby that serves sesame prawn toast, and there was only one that was within like a mile. There was another one that was like 12 miles away. And I'm like, well, I'm not going 12 miles to buy sesame prawn toast. So we went to this place, and it was, I could honestly only describe it as the worst Chinese meal I've ever had in my life. Like everything was wrong. Like the noodles I asked for to come without bean sprouts, and it
I
took like the
hate bean
entire length.
sprouts.
Yeah,
I
I hate
hate
bean
them. I
sprouts,
hate
right?
them.
I don't want noodles to be crunchy. I want them to be like, like kind of like chewy, right? And
That's
it took
so
them,
funny.
but it was like, it wasn't until the whole meal was over that this finally came over, because they'd had to get them from fresh. So you're thinking, okay, so they've just got a giant pile of noodles there that are already ready to go out. That's a bit gross, right? So so at least we got them cooked fresh. But it was like after we'd had all our meat and fish and everything, we hadn't had any rice or noodles with them or anything. And then right when we finished, the noodles came. The sesame prawn toast was substantially worse than the one you get from the supermarket and just put in the air fryer. It was so disappointing. Thin toast, hardly any prawn on it, very tasteless. With loads of sweet chili sauce, which didn't make up for the lack of flavour.
It's
There
so
was
ironic what you've just said, because as I said to you yesterday, we took Joe and Sam out for dinner, and I took them to my favorite restaurant, which is an Asian Chinese, like Asian Chinese restaurant, and they literally do the best prawn toast in the entire world. You can ask Joe about it. It was so nice. It's like I can't eat it because I can't eat gluten anymore, but it's about that thick,
oh.
fluffy, delicious.
Well, we had that in
Yeah,
Byron Bay. We went somewhere that had that. It was like an inch thick sesame prawn toast, like an inch
yeah,
thick,
so
right?
good.
You've got 14 mil of toast, right? And then on top of that, you've probably got another 11 mil prawn and a sesame layer on top of that. Yeah, and but that was like $18, but like, it was worth it because it's like that was as good as it gets. So yeah, that was just. But most of the food we had was great. Australia and New Zealand, I don't think we had a bad meal apart from that. So yeah, lesson
No,
learned on that.
that's
One.
good.
I went,
Good.
but that's ChatGPT's fault.
Good. I mean, and also you're in Adelaide. There's not a huge English and Irish population in Adelaide compared to Sydney and Melbourne.
Oh, is
So
that right?
yeah. So there's a lot of places, but I won't divulge because I'll be here all night. Okay, so what is your favorite Aussie or Kiwi catchphrase or slang?
Like they say, grouse in Australia, if something's really good, we call it like a pure grouse banger. That's quite funny. Spewing is another one. Like if you're upset that you missed something, you go, "Oh, I'm spewing that I missed your gig." It's just like it's so Aussie, isn't it?
So Aussie.
Like yeah, that like grouse is like that. Just made me laugh so much when I first heard that. I had to integrate it into one of my videos. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Okay, next one. So I'm sure all of your shows are amazing. You played some of our biggest and best festivals across the two countries. But if you had to pick one, what was the best show?
Oh, it's really hard to pick because I did club shows and I did festival shows, right? And I played 4 festivals: Riverman Alps, Hidden Valley, Beyond the Valley, and Field Day. Field Day was like really nice because my boss from my old job came along because he was in Sydney at the time, and so he came along. And he had his daughter with him. He's just turned 18, so she's just started like going out and stuff. And it was really nice actually. And it was like really really busy. My stage was really busy. It was a really good gig. But it was also really nice, like sharing that moment with someone because he was a bit shocked when I handed my notice in a few years ago and left my job to be a DJ. It was a bit like I didn't realise that it was, like
A
viable
thing.
career path.
Yeah.
A thing. I was seeing stuff on social media, but I don't think you realise that it was that it was something where I'd be able to do it instead of as my work. So it was actually really nice bringing him along to a gig that went really really well. And the Sydney crowd was amazing. I can't believe how hard they go on New Year's Day as well.
I
It's
know,
incredible.
and a lot of people come from Lost Paradise and go straight to Field Day. Like it's a bit of a thing that people do that. So yeah, these Aussie kids love to have a good time.
It's quite hardcore, I feel like when I was younger in the UK, like me and my friends were like that and we could go that hard. And I feel like like in the UK now, that it's possibly calmed down as people are a little bit more sensible and reserved. Like, and I don't think it's as big a thing to like just to go out and to go out on New Year's Day. I'm not aware of any like massive events on, or like I don't think it's such a big thing. Whereas obviously in Australia it is like, kind of part of the going out culture, and it's very impressive to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I could still do it actually. I think I've still got it in me, but yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, so good. We could have potentially already answered this one, so I can always swap it out. But what was the funniest or most chaotic moment of the tour?
Oh
Appropriate
yeah,
to share.
okay. Yeah, no, no, it's fine. So I've got my new single coming, right? And I wanted to do my record label said like in Australia they celebrate by drinking out of a shoe. It's called a shoey. And I was like, oh cool, yeah, let's do that. That sounds super fun. I hadn't really thought through the logistics that much. So I bought this shoe with, and it was an old like 1990s Patrick's Cox loafer that I had in the attic. And I thought, well, I'll make a good one because it's leather, so it'll contain the liquid better. And I just like that was my thinking. And at Perth, it was quite dusty and all that. And Perth at the ice cream factory, I just whipped this shoe out, pulled it up, and I drank out of it, and it was fine. But the thing is, the shoe was sort of quite dusty from the attic, and I hadn't really given that much thought. And then I finished my show at 11 p.m. and we had to go straight, or 10 p.m. we had to go straight to the airport, and then we had to fly all the way to Auckland, 2 flights via Sydney. And again, I had another digestive problem on the aeroplane, right? Which I assume is as a result of drinking out of a shoe that's 30 years old that's been sitting in the attic full of dust. And actually, I didn't look at the shoe because when I did the same thing at Beyond the Valley, but they gave me a brand new trainer because they had like a deal. They had like Salomon had given them a load of trainers to give out to people in the artist area. So I got a brand new shoe and drank out of it, right? So that was fine. That was brand new. And actually, the leather thing was a mistake because if you drink out of a trainer, so a lot of the beer just drips out before you get to drink it. So you don't actually have to drink as much when you're like mid-performance and stuff, right? But yeah, the Patrick Cox loafer I've actually got now, and I've just looked at it for the first time this morning, and it's now covered in mold as well. It's disgusting. So I don't know whether to clean it up because it's like a proper 90s like cool like shoe. Like those were really in those. The Patrick Cox loafers were like that was like the cool shoe in the 90s. I don't know whether to keep it or just to chuck it in the bin.
Maybe contain it wherever you're going to keep it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
I certainly won't be drinking out of it again. That's for sure.
Love it. All right. So back to the music. Which track had the best reaction from the crowd, and was it like an overall consistent across shows, or was there a particular moment at one of the shows that was just like, wow?
There's a couple actually, and they're both like so. There's an edit that I made of a Ketamar track called "It Gets Better," and I made my own. I just like sampled it, and I just built my own track around it. And it's a much heavier, like UKG orientated, like kind of track. And it's got the vocal bit in it that everyone likes. It goes I need
Yeah.
a drink, and you can like bring the fader down and everyone sings along to it and stuff. And then when you drop it, it's just like, it's quite filthy, like bass and like garage and stuff on it. So that went down really well. Joe Hunt's track Raw Cuts, which samples an old Wu-Tang Clan track, that's gone down really well. That record's got a lot of heat on it at the moment, but it's very unlikely to ever be released. So it's just in that status of like underground banger. They'll probably never come out. So that's why it always gets
Oh.
a really big reaction. And it's not something that you can hear everywhere because not everyone's got it, because it's just like the only people who've got it are people that Joe's given it to. So that's a real
Oh.
heater in the set. And then the other one's and actually it's an older tune from much earlier last year by Roberto Marino and T78, and it's called Bomb Acid, all one word, Bomb Acid, and it's like really, really heavy, it's like a sort of like techno track with a heavy acid element in it, and it's just got, when the kick drum comes in, it's really, really, really heavy. Just get a big cheer from the crowd. It's like nice.
Yeah, I must say, I personally don't vibe too heavy, but I tell you what, the Aussie kids, they fucking love
Yeah,
it.
they love it.
They
They love
love
it.
it.
Couldn't go
Love
hard
it.
enough.
Yeah, literally. Some of the stuff at Lost Paradise, I was like, wow, that's intense. But they love it. So that's great. All right, we've got 3 left. So what do you think is the most either underrated place, thing, or experience in Australia or New Zealand?
Well, this probably won't like strike as being an underrated thing, but I just found that like the natural beauty of the country is something. I mean, I hadn't quite realised just how stunning some of the parts of the country are. I know every country's got its own natural beauty, but we went to Byron Bay, and it's just like, it's a really, really lovely little place. It's got beautiful sea and all of that. And I was like, yeah, this is amazing. And then we went to Torquay, and I was like, wow, it's got even more sort of like natural beauty element to it, because it's got like the whole vista and the look out to the ocean and stuff like that. They're both like really, really stunning places. And it's sometimes easy to forget when you're touring and you're just going to festivals, clubs and cities and stuff, that actually it's a country that's got a lot of natural beauty as well. So that was quite, it wasn't exactly unexpected, but it was a very pleasant break from all of the city stuff. And I love cities as well, but it still took my breath away when I saw like how beautiful the ocean was. And you walk, when you're in Byron Bay, you can walk up to the lighthouse. I did that every day, like, around the headland. And in Torquay, you can do a really nice long walk along the beach, and it's just really beautiful. So yeah.
There's like literally, I've lived here for 11 years this year, and I'm still finding new beaches, even in the Sydney kind of area. Like, it's quite amazing just how many beautiful places there are. So completely agree with you there.
But when you fly over Sydney, you realise how much,
Oh, it's
how many little coves and
gorgeous.
beaches and stuff it's got.
Gorgeous.
It's a very like nebulous place. There's lots and lots of bits and pieces. It's not a laid out in a linear fashion at all. The coastlines, undulate all over the place, and there's probably quite, like you say, I'd imagine it's quite a lot to explore and discover.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And the thing is with Sydney, you can do these helicopter flights over the harbour, but all you need to do is basically get on an aeroplane that's going anywhere north, Brisbane, Byron Bay, even Newcastle, and if you fly during the day, you'll get the most beautiful view, bird's eye view of the whole place on the way there and the way back. It's absolutely, yes, it takes my breath away every time, even after all these years. All right, 2 to go. So you've obviously ticked off some of our biggest and best festivals across the 2 country, and so this doesn't necessarily have to be a music event, but what's one thing that's on your bucket list next time you visit this side of the world?
Um, I've not been to Ayers Rock in the middle, and that's like I've been to some of the major places in Australia. By no means have I exhaustively travelled the country, because it's an absolutely enormous continent. But no, I'd love to go to Ayers Rock. I haven't played in Cairns or in Newcastle yet, and I do get people messaging me going like, when are we going to get you? Like, when's the fish coming? And it's always nice to go to a place for the first time. So on this last tour, I had a lot of people from Torquay and Adelaide saying like, why haven't you stopped here? Come and see us stuff. And I went there, and both of the shows were fantastic. They both sold out, and it was a really good atmosphere. You always get a degree of excitement when you play somewhere for the first time, because you get all the people that have lived there, all of the bottled up, like pent up demand and excitement to see you. It's going to be that audience there, and then that level of excitement the first time you play somewhere is always peak, right?
I love going to new places, so I can't imagine adding the element of performing to people and having them be excited to see you. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, totally.
All right, cool. So lucky last, what's the best piece of life advice you've ever been given?
It's funny, actually. There's this phrase, comparison is the thief of joy, right? And it's so true. And one time my boss at work said to me years ago, he said, like, never compare yourself to other people. And if you are, then you've got to remember that there's lots of other people that will be comparing themselves to you, and the thing is, it's so true, because life's full of ups and downs, right? And the last few years, obviously, I've been on this little journey of like DJing, and it's just been like a dream. I've had my share of challenges even during this time, but outside of it as well. And you've got to remember, right, that at the end of the day, if you're healthy, like, then you're already in an enviable position for like much of the world's population, and if you're just going to always look at other people and go, that person's doing better than me, that person's got more gigs, that person's made more money, they've got a bigger house, whatever, you've got to remember, right? You're never going to get your life like completely perfect. You're cherry picking the best bits of everyone else's existence and go, well, I'm not as rich as that person, or I'm not as happy as that person, or it's just like you can never ever meet that benchmark. And what I've discovered is that success, like true success in life, is actually happiness rather than any other like metrics like that. And if you just compare yourself to other people, it's like a recipe for like not being happy, because you'll never be able to meet that high benchmark that, where you cherry pick from everyone else. And just remember, like I said, there's always going to be other people that are looking at you going like, wow, I wish I could have, X, Y, or Z that guy's got as well. So in short, like, comparison is the thief of joy is a good measure.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And back to what you said before, if you think about some things that we may consider problems in our lives, like there's a lot of people in the world that would only give to have those as their problems, you know?
Yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
All right. Well, that's it. 10 quick questions. Thank you so much for your time.
That's been
I
a pleasure.
appreciate it. Yeah. I look forward to having you back on this side of the world, hopefully later in this year.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having
All
me.
right. Thanks, Fish. Bye.
Bye.